What an amazing seminar. Very good seminar. Tony Robbins. Time to Rise Summit 2026. Today is actually like today is the 29th of January. Right, let's say the seminar started on the 29th of January 2026, and it's a 3 day seminar. So it's day one. It's quite amazing. Good teachings. Um, Tony Robbins is a student of Jim Rohn, and he learns everything like the impacts Jim Rohn had in his life and everything. And just sharing it here. It's my little book. I've taken already wow, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight pages of notes, and it's still just about 15 minutes. It's quite amazing, quite amazing. So let's just keep watching and see. It's quite amazing. Amazing story. Exactly. That's life. Sacrifice. What are you ready to put in for your success? We're going to see where we will be 5 to 10 years. Amazing story. Mobile home. He was living in his car.
I convinced the mailman. I told him what happened. I'm there at noon every day to get my mail. So if you send my mail there, I'll get it. And she looks at me and says, "You want the bank to loan you $1,200 and we can send it to 7-Eleven and we can count on you picking it up?" I said, "No, you don't understand." I said, "I gotta do this. This is my one thing I'm gonna make." And I just got so intense. She goes, "Calm down." And she looked at it again, and she looked me in the eyes and she said, "I don't think the bank will loan you the money." I said, "No," but she says, "Listen to me." She goes, "This kind of energy, this kind of commitment," she says, "I think you're gonna do something." She said, "I'm gonna go to the bank manager. I'm gonna speak for you, but if they don't do it, I will. I will loan you the money if you look me in the eye and say, I will never have to come find you. You will come and deliver it to me personally."
Wow.
And I jumped up and I hugged this woman.
Amazing story. Amazing story. Amazing story. Amazing story. Amazing story. And that brings amazing story, and that brings us to what Jim Rohn usually says, like amazing story, and that brings us to what Jim Rohn usually says, like when the student is ready, the teacher will show up. When you are when you're ready, and when you're in that motion, when you're in that mode, ready to receive, then the doors just open. The same as they say, like you need to knock for the door to get open. If you don't knock, there is no chance. At times, the hardest thing to do is just to show up. Amazing story.
Stormed up to her and I said, "Hi, I'm Tony Robbins." I said, "I'm here today to borrow $1,200. I'm not here to borrow it to fix a car."
Now we had this already.
And she looked me in the eyes and she said, "I don't think the bank will loan you the money." I said, "No," but she says, "Listen to me." She goes, "This kind of energy, this kind of commitment," she says, "I think you're going to need something." She said, "I'm going to go to the bank manager. I'm going to speak to you, but if they don't do it, I will. I will loan you the money if you look me in the eye and say, I will never have to come find you. You will come and deliver it to me personally." All right? And I jumped up and I hugged this woman.
Amazing story. People just online, more than 1 million participants.
I jumped up and hugged her and gave her a kiss. I don't think she was ready for that. Her name was Mrs. Williams. I said, "I will always tell the story how you gave me my start." And I still do. She passed away more than 15 years ago. And by the way, she got the bank to loan me the money. I don't know how else she did. I don't know if she co-signed or whatever, but she did. She probably didn't tell them the mail was going to 7-Eleven. And I took $1,200 and I went to this one weekend seminar with Jim Rohn. One weekend. I didn't have enough money for a hotel room. I was going to sleep in my car, but I met a guy there named Mike Keys. I think he's watching today. I've known him for 45 years, 46 years. And he was almost as broke as me, but he had enough for a hotel room. He goes, "Look, don't stay there. Come stay in my hotel room." And we became good friends. And he and I, when Jim Rohn, before he died, he used to start his seminars the same way. He goes, "Every time we get up here, I think I better do a good job, but you never know who's in your audience." And he'd say, "I remember years ago, decades ago, there was a young man taking notes like crazy, yelling out answers. His name was Tony Robbins." He goes, "He started here with me." And he said, "So I don't know if you're Tony Robbins, but I'm here to deliver for you." He talked about Mike several times as well. But you know what the difference was? $1,200 was my mortgage on my house, my car I was sleeping in. So like I didn't go to the bathroom, and he said, "I wrote the." I think at one point every word was worth 3 cents. Right? There's some people it's easy to go. If it's easy, and by the way, that's the weakness in this program. I will tell you honestly, it's free. So don't take it for granted because it's free. Show up on time, play full out. Don't leave after you get 2 hours. Stay for the whole thing. I promise you, tools will make a change. But also, here's what I ask of you. The one thing, this is my gift to you. The one thing I ask back is you take action. So at the end of each of these 3 days, I'm going to give you a little homework piece. It's not hard, but it'll give you momentum. It'll get you from thinking about stuff to actually doing it. And then I'm going to ask you to share it on Facebook so people can share their changes and transformations. And I'll probably be up all night tonight watching those as last night, because now we'll see the changes in people, which will be really beautiful. So that's how I got my start. So I went to work for Jim Rohn, and then I started studying. I heard about something called NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Some of you may have heard of it. In the late 1970s, early 80s, it was the most cutting edge that you could imagine. How to create change.
Amazing program.
Usually take months or years.
amazing program. That's part of the story. And let's keep on moving. Let's keep on noting. Uh, that's it. 5 to 6 years from now, I'm going to talk about this program, how it changed my life. I'm going to talk about this moment. I'm going to live to show how the moments were so defining. I'm now actually in my winter season between 21 to 21 years and above. Summer, young adults, tested and discovered so many things not moving on well. But I know I'm in the right tracks. And watching programs like this, I'm so lucky to fall on this and to be able to see this program. And I can say thanks to Alex Hamonzi because I was watching like one of the program interview of Alex Hamonzi and Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins talks about the program. Unfortunately, I never subscribed on the link, but I was fortunate also today that because I thought the program was physical and in USA. I'm not in USA now, so I could not like be present there. So I was able at least to I'm able to follow the program direct throughout, and now the program is finished, but at least I can forward and come backward and note everything I have, take copy everything, and by the grace of God, I'm going to try to apply all these things in my life. That will be my assignment at the end of this program, to apply everything I learn. I don't know, I don't care what how it's going to be, but as Jim Rohn said, the best way of learning what works is choosing any path and just going. Just choose your path that you want and keep going. At least I will find out very soon that if is the right path, because you don't need to go for years before you discover. But it's better to live a short life full of adventure than a long life just being at the corner. So I'm going to do this, and the second assignment will be like copying everything that Jim Rohn, listening to his podcast daily, listening to his teachings, listening to everything that concerns what he has left, the impacts and everything, reading the books he said we should read, and trying to apply them as much as possible. And doing that, I'm going to see how everything will change in my life. And by the grace of God, I will talk about this moment. So let's continue the program. It was just a short casual video to talk about this program and how I'm seeing the year 2026 to go. And if you are in that journey too, you might as well as just like to join us, and let's keep moving on with the program. It's amazing. It's a 3 days program and it will be an amazing program. Join us and let's grow together with Jim Rohn. Note as much as possible, copy as much as possible, highlight as much as possible you want to do, and that is it. I don't know if I'm going to post this video on my YouTube channel. Normally I'm not supposed to post this, but I'm just feeling like tempted to post it. But anywhere we'll see it. Let's see. That's midnight. Need to go to the gym by 5. So anyhow, but I need to finish this program. Tomorrow is another program, so at least I will have the day to meditate on everything I will learn today and so on. It's going to be full. I think just these 3 days I'm going to have more than 30 pages of notes, and that's kind of a book. It's amazing. Let's go and see you. I hope if you're watching the program, just try to check on it and enjoy. The title is Time to Rise Summit 2026 with just day one by Tony Robbins.